Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Ramana Gulzar Mattu, working as Assistant Professor in Abdul Ahad Azad Memorial Degree College, Femina, Jammu and Kashmir. I'm a participant of the online faculty induction program organized from 10th of November 2020 to 9th December 2020 by Ramanujan College, University of Delhi. I'm going to deliver my presentation on the topic data collection methods. Before discussing the main topic, let us understand the following definitions. Raw data. Data recorded in the sequence in which they are collected and are before they are processed or ranked are called raw data. For example, the data collected from the survey or research purpose. Raw data may not be so helpful without proper manipulation. The second definition is that of processed data. It can be defined as a systematic record of a particular quantity. It is the different values of that quantity represented together in a set. It is a collection of the facts and figures to be used for a specific purpose, such as survey or analysis. When arranged in an organized form, it can be called as information. Data may be classified into two types: qualitative data and quantitative data. Qualitative data represents some characteristics or attributes of the data collected. For example, data on attributes such as intelligence, honesty, wisdom, cleanliness, etc. We have quantitative data as well. These type of data can be measured. They can be numerically represented and calculations can be performed on them. For example, data on the number of students having IQ more than 100, height of students in a particular class, marks scored by the students in a particular subject, etc. Now, what data collection is? Data collection is the systematic approach of gathering and measuring information from the variety of sources to get a complete and accurate picture of the area of interest. Data collection enables a person of organization to answer relevant questions and evaluate outcomes. It is also known as the process of enumeration together with the proper recording of the results. Also, it is the process by which a researcher collects information needed to the answer of the problem. Now, there are different types of methods, or we can say there are different types of data depending upon the source. It can be classified into primary data and secondary data. Primary data are the types of data that are collected afresh or for the first time by the investigator for a specific purpose. It is also known as the first-hand data. For example, data collected during Census of India. Talking about secondary data, it is those type of data which are already connected by someone for some purpose and which has already been passed through the statistical process and are available for the present study. Now, coming on to the collection of the primary data, methods of collection of the primary data. Now, there are 5 methods, and these are direct personal observation, indirect oral investigation, information through correspondence, mailed questionnaire method, schedules sent through enumerators. We will first discuss the method of direct personal investigation. Under this method, the data is collected by the investigator personally, and there is face-to-face contact with the persons from whom the information is to be obtained. For example, the census. The investigator must be a very keen observer, tactful, and courteous in behavior. There are merits and demerits of this method. The merits are originality, as it is also known as the first hand information, reliability, since the investigator himself collects the information, uniformity, flexibility, reliability. Its demerits are it is not suitable for wider areas. It may have the personal bias. It is very costly. It's time consuming. And it may lead to the wrong conclusions if the experts are not fully trained. Another method is that of the indirect oral investigation. The investigator obtains the information not from those persons from whom information is needed, but from the third party who are in touch with the informants. Generally, this method is employed by different inquiry committees and commissions. For example, one may ask about the drinking habits of a person, and in that case, we may ask the neighbors or his friends. The merits of this method are simple and convenient. It is used, it's applicable in the wider area, it's less costly, and expert opinion. Demerits. The demerits are it is less accurate, it may be biased, which may result to the wrong conclusions. The third method is that of the information from correspondence. The investigator appoints local agents or correspondents at different places to collect information. These correspondents collect the information in their own way and send the same to the central office where the data are processed. For example, agents working in newspaper agencies, they provide the information about the riots, accidents, share markets, sports, politics, etc. Now, there are certain merits of this method. These are it is economical, they have wider coverage, they have continuity, as many of the persons are involved in this method, and speedy information. The demerits are less originality, it may have the lack of uniformity, it may have personal bias, and hence less accurate. Other method is that of mailed questionnaire method, which is very important. In this method, a list of questions pertaining to the inquiry are prepared and sent to the respondents by post. A covering letter is also sent along with the questionnaire, requesting to extend their full cooperation by giving correct replies and returning it back within a specific time. This method is mostly adopted by research workers, non-official agencies, etc. The merits of this method are it's economical, it has originality, and it covers wider area. The demerits are lack of interest, maybe because of the long questions, lack of flexibility, it may be biased, and hence less accurate, which leads to the wrong conclusions. The last method is that of the schedules sent through enumerators. A questionnaire is prepared as per purpose of inquiry. Well-trained enumerators are selected who themselves approach the informants along with the questionnaire. The questionnaires The questions are being asked to the informants and are recorded by the enumerators at that very place. So the merits are it has a wider coverage, accuracy, personal contact, and it's very responsive. The demerits are it's expensive, time consuming, inaccurate data, bias, and the enumerators cannot be well trained. Switching on to the collection of the secondary data. The methods of collecting secondary data are published data and unpublished data. Published data, generally, published sources are national, international, government, semi-government, private bodies, corporate bodies, trade associations, expert committees, and commissions reports and research reports. They collect the statistical data in different fields like national, income, population, prices, employment, wages, export, import, etc. These reports are published on regular basis, that's annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, and so on. The published sources of secondary data are official publication of central and state government, Department of Union and State Government regularly publish reports on number of subjects, and these important publications are the Reserve Bank of India, Census of India, the Bulletin, Statistical Abstract of States, Agricultural Statistics of India, etc. Another source of secondary data is semi-official publications. The semi-government institutions like municipal corporation, district boards, panchayat, etc. publish these sort of reports. Then we have the international publication. International agencies and international bodies publish regular and occasional reports on economic and statistical matters. For example, they are IMF, the IBRD, UNO, etc. Then we have the reports of various committees and commissions appointed by the government. They include Panchu Commission, Report on Taxation, Pay Commission reports, Land Reforms Committee reports, etc. These are the sources of secondary data. Then we have the publications in research institutions like ISI, that is Indian Statistical Institution, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, that's ICAR, Indian Agricultural Statistic Research Institute, IASRI, etc., publish the findings of their research programs. Another method of secondary data is the journals and newspapers. Current and important materials on statistics and socio-economic problems can be obtained from journals and newspapers like Economic Times, Commerce, Capital, Indian Finance, Monthly Statistics of Trade, etc. Another source of secondary data is that of the unpublished data. There are certain records maintained properly by the government agencies, private offices, firms, etc. These data are not published. And with this, I end. With data collection, the sooner the better is always the best answer. Thank you.